I knocked on apartment 147. Lauren opened the door. I think we should talk, I said. Don't you? You can invite me in, I said evenly, or I can say everything I need to say right here in the hallway where your neighbors can hear. She hesitated, then stepped aside. I walked in. Her apartment was stunning. Expensive furniture. Floor-to-ceiling windows. Modern art on the walls. Not exactly the home of someone drowning in medical bills. Jason came out of what looked like the bedroom. He was shirtless. When he saw me, he froze. Don't, I said, holding up my hand. Don't say my name. Don't explain. Just don't. I pulled out my phone and opened the folder. I started showing them everything. This is you two at the beach last Sunday, I said, holding up the first photo. Lauren, you look incredibly healthy for someone with stage 3 cancer. Her face hardened. Jason looked like he was about to throw up. This is you at the gym, I said, swiping to the next image. Interesting workout routine for someone supposedly wrecked by chemo. Emily, let me explain, Jason said. I didn't stop. Explain what? I snapped. Explain how you've been lying to me for months? Explain how you told me your ex was dying when she's actually perfectly healthy. Or maybe you want to explain this. I held up the screenshot of Lauren's GoFundMe page. $54,000. That's how much people donate for your fake cancer treatments. That's fraud, I said. That's a crime. Lauren's expression shifted. She wasn't scared anymore. She was angry. You have no idea what you're talking about, she said coldly. Really? I pulled out printed hospital records. Because St. Mary's has no record of you as a patient. Neither does any other hospital in this city. I checked. Jason collapsed onto her couch and buried his face in his hands. I've documented every lie, I continued. Every fake treatment update. Every staged photo. Every sympathy post. I have all of it. What do you want? Lauren asked, crossing her arms. What do I want? I repeated. I want to understand how two people can be this cruel. This calculated. It wasn't supposed to hurt anyone, Jason said quietly. I laughed, but there was no humor in it. It wasn't supposed to hurt anyone? Jason, you've been cheating on your wife for months. You've lied to me every day. You let me support you through a tragedy that never existed while you were just having an affair. I was going to tell you, he said weakly. When? I shot back. After the fake funeral? Or were you just going to send Lauren away to recover somewhere? He didn't answer. I turned to Lauren. And you? You're using your mother's real death from cancer to steal money from people. You turned a real tragedy into a scam to fund an affair with a married man. What kind of person does that? My mother's death is none of your business, she said flatly. You made it everyone's business when you decided to profit off it, I fired back. I pulled out one more document. This is the fraud report I filed with GoFundMe. They're investigating you. I've also sent everything to local news stations, I added. I'm sure they'd love a story about a woman who faked cancer to steal from generous people. Lauren's face drained of color. You can't do that. Watch me, I said. You wanted sympathy. You wanted attention. You're about to get more than you ever asked for. Jason stood up. Emily, please. Don't do this. We can work this out. Work this out. I stared at him. Jason, you're sleeping with a woman who committed fraud. You helped her lie to people. To me. There is nothing to fix. I love her, he said, his voice breaking. Those words hurt more than anything else. More than the cheating. More than the lies. Then you can love her from a distance, I said. Because once everyone knows what she's done, I don't think you'll want your name tied to hers. I turned toward the door. Wait, Lauren said. I looked back. She didn't look so confident now. She looked small. Terrified. What do you want? She asked again, her voice shaking. Money? Is that it? I don't want anything from you, I said. Except to watch you face the consequences. Please, she begged, real tears streaming now. Don't go to the media. I'll return the GoFundMe money. All of it. I'll shut it down. I'll disappear from Jason's life. Just don't destroy my career. My reputation. You should have thought about that before you faked a terminal illness, I said coldly. Jason stepped between us. Emily, wait. If you expose her, you expose me too. My job. My reputation. Everything. Is that what you want? I looked at him. The man I loved for 9 years. The man I'd been married to for 7. The man who promised to choose me. You should have thought about that before you did this, I said. Then I walked out. I left them standing there, desperate and panicked. When I got to my car, I just sat there for a moment. My hands were shaking. I felt powerful and shattered at the same time. Then I called Sarah. "It's done," I said. I confronted them. And now we moved to phase 2. I didn't go to the media right away. Instead, I did something smarter. I messaged every single person who had commented on Lauren's cancer posts on Facebook. There were hundreds of them. I sent each person a private message with a small set of photos and proof, along with a simple explanation. "Hi. I wanted you to know that Lauren has been faking her cancer diagnosis. She is not sick and never has been. She created a GoFundMe to take money from people under false pretenses. I have proof. I wanted you to know before you donate any more money or emotional energy to someone who has been lying to you." I included enough evidence to be convincing, but not overwhelming. Then I waited. For several hours later, the first post appeared. It was from a woman named Melissa, one of Lauren's loudest supporters. "I'm heartbroken to learn your cancer story was a lie," she wrote. "I donated money I couldn't afford. I prayed for you every night. How could you do this to people who cared about you?" Then another person posted. Then another. Within a day later, Lauren's Facebook was flooded with angry comments. People demanded refunds. Others shared their own stories of being scammed. Friends were tagged. Warnings spread fast. Lauren deleted her account, but it was too late. Screenshots were everywhere. Someone even created a Facebook group called Lauren's Cancer Scam Victims, where people started organizing and sharing information. The GoFundMe page was shut down, and a formal investigation was opened. Because Lauren had raised over $50,000 through fraud, it was classified as a felony. Local news stations jumped on the story. Woman accused of faking cancer to raise money ran across 3 different channels. Lauren's employer was contacted. She was placed on administrative leave while they investigated whether she'd used company resources in the scam. Jason called me 20 times that first day. I didn't answer. He sent message after message, begging me to stop. He said I destroyed both their lives. He told me he'd never forgive me. I blocked his number. But I still wasn't finished. Sarah's firm drafted the divorce papers. I asked for everything. The house, the car, our savings. For the last years, I'd been the primary breadwinner while Jason's sales numbers had mysteriously dropped. Now I understood why. He'd been too busy playing hero to his fake dying girlfriend. I also included a clause demanding repayment for half of everything I'd contributed to our joint accounts during the marriage. Every dollar I earned while he was off living a double life. My lawyer said it was one of the most clear-cut, justified divorce cases she'd ever handled. Jason tried to come to the house. I'd already changed the locks. He pounded on the door, yelling for me to let him in so we could talk. I called the police and filed for a restraining order. In court, when I presented the photos, videos, timelines, and proof of his affair and involvement in Lauren's fraud, the judge looked at Jason with open disgust. "You're a piece of work, Mr. Miller," he said. "I'm granting your wife everything she's requested." Jason tried to object. "That's not fair. That's our house. Our savings." "Fair?" The judge cut in. "Let's talk about fair. While your wife was supporting your household, you were helping another woman commit fraud. You're lucky you're not being charged as an accessory. I suggest you take what you're given and leave quietly." The divorce was finalized in record time. But that wasn't the end. 10 days later, I got a message on Instagram from an account I didn't recognize. It was from a woman named Rachel. "Hi, Emily. I saw the news about Jason and Lauren. I need to tell you something." She told me she'd been engaged to Jason 6 years earlier, before he met me. He'd ended things suddenly, with no real explanation. Now she knew why. She'd just discovered he'd been cheating on her with Lauren back then too. He left her for Lauren, but Lauren dumped him not long after. "That's when Jason met me. I think you were always his backup plan," she wrote. I stared at the message for a long time. Jason hadn't fallen back in love with Lauren. He'd never stopped loving her. I had been the safe choice. The consolation prize. The woman he married because he couldn't have the one he actually wanted. Our entire marriage had been built on a lie. I met Rachel for coffee. She was warm, kind, and beautiful. She told me about her relationship with Jason. How attentive and loving he was until he wasn't. How he disappeared without explanation, she said. I blamed myself for years. But it was never about me, she added. It was always about her. Strangely, we became friends. We bonded over being collateral damage in Jason's obsession with Lauren. Rachel shared something else that made everything click. Lauren had a pattern. She dated several men, and whenever things got serious, she'd create some kind of crisis to test their devotion. With one boyfriend, she faked a pregnancy scare. With another, she claimed her apartment had been broken into and everything stolen. The cancer lie was just her most extreme manipulation yet. She needs to be rescued, Rachel said. She needs to know men will drop everything for her. It's psychological. It explained everything. Meanwhile, Lauren's life unraveled. She was fired from her job. The criminal case moved forward. She was ordered to return the GoFundMe money, but many donors said they never got refunds. Lawsuits started piling up. Jason moved back in with his parents after losing the house and savings. His performance at work dropped so badly, he was placed on a performance improvement plan, which usually comes right before being fired. People say karma isn't real. I watched it happen in real time. For months later, I got another message. This time, it was from Lauren. I need to talk to you. Please. Just once. I almost ignored it. But curiosity won. We met at a neutral place, a Starbucks across town. She looked awful. Her hair was greasy. Dark circles framed her eyes. She'd lost weight. Not cancer weight. Stress weight. Thank you for meeting me, she said quietly. I stayed silent. I want to say I'm sorry, she continued. For everything. The lies. The fraud. The affair. All of it. Okay, I said flatly. I know you don't believe me, she said. I wouldn't either. But I'm in therapy now. I'm starting to understand why I did what I did. She wrapped her hands around her cup. My mom died when I was 18, she said. I watched her suffer through cancer for 3 years. It was horrible. After she died, people were so kind to me. So supportive. They'd do anything for me because I was the girl whose mom died. She paused. I got addicted to that feeling. To people caring. Focusing on me. Making me the center of everything. And when the sympathy faded, she said softly, and everyone moved on with their lives, I felt invisible. So I kept creating new emergencies. New reasons for people to focus on me. That still doesn't excuse what you did, I told her. I know, she said right away. I'm not asking you to forgive me. I just wanted you to understand that it wasn't about you. Or even really about Jason. This was about my own problems. Then what about the $50,000? I asked. Was that part of your issues too? She winced. I'm paying it back. Every dollar. It'll take years, but I'm paying it back. Good, I said. Jason and I broke up, she added. Once everything came out, he blamed me for destroying his life. He said if I hadn't gotten greedy with the GoFundMe, none of this would have happened. He said it was my fault his marriage fell apart. I almost laughed. Of course he did. He's not the man I thought he was, Lauren said softly. When things got hard, when I actually needed him, he vanished. He only wanted me when I fit the fantasy he created. That's who he is, I said. He doesn't love real people. He loves ideas. Perfect versions that aren't real. Lauren nodded. I'm leaving. I'm going back to my hometown. I can't stay here. Everyone knows what I did. I can't find work. I can't make friends. I ruined my own life. She looked at me, eyes full of tears. I know you don't owe me anything, but I wanted you to hear this. You didn't deserve any of it. You were innocent. And I am truly sorry. I sat there quietly, letting it sink in. I appreciate you saying that, I finally said. But saying sorry doesn't erase what you did. You and Jason stole months of my life. You made me doubt my own mind. You made me feel guilty for being jealous of someone who was supposed to be dying. That's psychological torture. I know, she whispered. I stood up. I hope you get the help you need, I said. I really do. But you need to understand something. This wasn't just about attention. You chose to hurt people. You took money from people who barely had any to give. You have to live with that and let it change you. Then I walked away and left her there. 1 year later, my life looked completely different. I'd redone the house and erased every trace of Jason. I'd been promoted at work. I'd started dating again. Nothing serious. Just reminding myself what it felt like to be wanted and respected. One Saturday night, Sarah and I went out to celebrate her birthday. We ended up at a downtown bar, laughing, drinking cocktails, surrounded by friends. That's when I saw Jason. He was sitting in the corner with a woman I didn't know. She looked young, maybe mid-20s. He was doing the same routine he used to do with me, leaning in close, touching her arm, holding intense eye contact. He looked worn down, older, like the past year had taken years off his life. Our eyes met across the room. He looked startled, like he might come over. I just lifted my glass in a fake toast and turned back to my friends. I didn't need a confrontation. I didn't need closure. I already had what I needed. My freedom, my self-respect, and the knowledge that I survived the worst betrayal of my life and came out stronger. Later that night, as I got ready for bed in my house, not ours, I got a text from a number I didn't recognize. I saw you at the bar tonight. You looked happy. I'm glad. I'm sorry for everything. I stared at the screen for a second. Part of me wanted to reply and tell him exactly how I felt. Then I realized something. He didn't deserve my words. He didn't deserve my time or my energy. He didn't deserve anything from me. I blocked the number and went to sleep. 1 month later, Rachel called me. You need to see this. She sent me a link to a Facebook post. It was from Lauren. She'd posted a public apology. She admitted to everything. The fake cancer, the fraud, the affair. She explained how she manipulated people, why she did it, and how she was trying to make things right. The post had been shared thousands of times. Some people were furious. Some thanked her for being honest. Others shared their own stories of being manipulated. At the bottom, Lauren had written a message. To Emily, the woman whose life I helped destroy. I know you'll probably never see this. And if you do, you have no reason to care. But exposing me was the best thing that ever happened to me. You forced me to face myself. You saved me from myself. Thank you. I closed Facebook and didn't open it again for weeks. The truth is, I didn't save Lauren. She had to save herself. All I did was refuse to stay a victim to her and Jason's lies. I stood up for myself when no one else would. About 6 months later, I ran into Jason's mom at the grocery store. She looked uncomfortable when she saw me, like she wanted to disappear. But she walked over anyway. Emily, she said. I just want to tell you how sorry I am for what my son did to you. You deserved better. Thank you, I said. That means a lot. He's struggling, she added. He lost his job. He's living with us again. He keeps saying he made the biggest mistake of his life. I felt nothing. No satisfaction. No anger. No pity. Just nothing. I hope he figures things out, I said. And I meant it. Not for him. But because I genuinely didn't care enough anymore to wish him harm. She gave a sad smile. You've moved on, haven't you? Completely, I said. And I meant it. The woman Jason was with at the bar had dumped him after week once she learned about his past. Word had spread. No one wanted to date the guy who helped fake cancer. Lauren moved to a small town in Oregon. She started working at a nonprofit. And from what little she shared online, she was finally in therapy and actually doing the work. She'd paid back about half of the GoFundMe money and set up payment plans for the rest. As for me, I met someone new. His name is Michael. He's a coach. He's kind, honest, and boring in the best way possible. When he says he'll be home at 6, he walks in at 6. No games. No manipulation. No lies. At first, I didn't trust it. I kept waiting for something to go wrong. For some hidden life to come crashing out. But over time, I realized not everyone is like Jason and Lauren. Some people are genuinely good. The last twist in this story came about 12 months after my confrontation with Lauren. I got a call from a detective. Lauren had been arrested. Not for the GoFundMe fraud. She was actively paying that back. No, this was because another ex-boyfriend had come forward. Turns out, 6 years earlier, Lauren had faked a pregnancy with a man named Andrew. She told him she was pregnant. She made him buy baby supplies. He told his family they were expecting. Then she faked a miscarriage. Andrew was devastated. He spent years believing he'd lost a child. When the news about the fake cancer broke, everything clicked. She'd never been pregnant. She'd used his emotions and disappeared when she got bored. Andrew pressed charges. Fraud again. And emotional manipulation. The detective asked if I'd be willing to testify about my experience with Lauren and Jason. About the pattern. About how calculated it all was. I said yes. The trial ended up being strangely healing. I told my story out loud, in a room full of people. I watched Lauren face real consequences. The judge sentenced her to 2 years of probation, continued restitution, and mandatory psychological treatment. Jason wasn't charged criminally. But Andrew's lawyer filed a civil suit against both Jason and Lauren for their roles in multiple frauds. Jason was ordered to pay thousands in damages. After the trial, Andrew came up to me. "Thank you for speaking," he said. I thought I was crazy. I thought I imagined how bad it was. Hearing your story helped me understand I wasn't alone. "You're not alone," I told him. "There are a lot of us." We exchanged numbers. And as strange as it sounds, there's now a small support group of people Lauren manipulated over the years. We meet for coffee sometimes. We talk. We remind each other that we survived. The last time I saw Jason was at the final court hearing. He looked small, broken. Nothing like the confident man I once married. As we were leaving the courthouse, he tried to approach me. "Emily." "Don't," I said. Not harshly. "Just don't. I just want you to know I really did love you," he said. "In my own way." "That's the problem, Jason," I told him. "Your way of loving people is toxic. I hope you figure that out someday." Then I walked away and didn't look back. Now it's been over 2 years since everything happened. I'm married to Michael. We have a simple, honest relationship built on trust and communication. Sometimes I tell him stories about Jason and Lauren, and he can barely believe they're real. "How did you survive that?" he once asked. "I didn't have a choice," I said. "When you're drowning, you either swim or sink." I chose to swim. Last month, I got a letter in the mail. It was from Lauren, forwarded through my lawyer. She'd finished probation. She'd paid back all the money. She'd been in intensive therapy for 3 years. She wrote a long letter explaining her progress, her understanding of what she'd done, and apologizing again. At the end, she wrote that she didn't expect forgiveness. She didn't expect anything from me. She just wanted me to know she was trying to become someone better. Someone who doesn't hurt people. And that I was the reason she finally faced herself. I read the letter twice. Then I put it in a drawer. Maybe I'll respond someday. Maybe I won't. Lauren's journey isn't my responsibility. My only responsibility is my own healing. People sometimes ask if I regret how I handled everything. If I wish I'd stayed quiet. If I think I went too far by exposing them publicly. The answer is no. Not even a little. Jason and Lauren didn't just betray me. They betrayed everyone who trusted them. Everyone who donated money. Everyone who prayed and supported them. They deserved to be exposed. They deserved consequences. And I deserve freedom. I deserve to move on. I deserve a life with someone who truly values me. So that's what I did. The woman I am now is stronger than the woman I was 2 years ago. I don't ignore red flags anymore. I don't shrink myself to keep others comfortable. I don't accept lies and manipulation as the cost of being loved. And if I ever see Jason or Lauren again, I'll smile, wave, and keep walking. They're not part of my story anymore. Knowing everything now, what would you do? Comment below.